The first scream rose from the forest just before the sun had fully set. It was a sharp, piercing cry that didn't sound human. I felt every hair on the back of my neck stand up. Something deep within those trees was calling, and it wanted someone to answer. I'd come to the small mountain town of Red Hollow to visit my cousin Mara. She was a ranger for the state park. And summers here were usually calm long hikes, warm nights, and the steady hum of insects. But the locals whispered about the forest. They warned hikers to stay out after dark. They spoke of voices that tried to lure people deeper than anyone could safely go. When I arrived, Mara just laughed at the stories. Okay, she said, the forest plays tricks with echoes, that your imagination fills the night with creatures that aren't really there. I believed her at first, but the scream that evening shattered any comfort I had. We were standing outside her cabin when we heard it. The cry cut through the warm air like a blade, a sound I felt inside my chest. It was like a person in pain, but twisted, as if the voice belonged to something trying too hard to mimic a human throat. Mara's expression changed instantly as she grabbed her flashlight, her jaw tight. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were not. She told me to stay inside, that she'd just check the trail border and be right back. I watched her walk into the trees, the beam of her light bouncing between trunks until the forest swallowed her completely. At first, everything was silent again. A thick, heavy silence that felt unnatural. I locked the cabin door and stood at the window, staring into the dark line of the woods. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Tried to convince myself she'd found nothing, but I knew something was wrong when I heard her voice calling my name. It drifted from the forest line, soft but clear, a perfect echo of her voice, yet it felt wrong. The tone was too smooth, the rhythm too exact, like someone had practiced it. A cold dread spread across my skin. I told myself Mara might need help, so I stepped outside. The forest edge loomed ahead, black and impenetrable. Her voice called again, just a little deeper inside the trees. My mind screamed at me to go back inside, but a dangerous mix of curiosity and fear pulled me forward. I stepped beneath the trees. The air changed instantly, the temperature dropping as the thick smell of damp earth filled my nose. The forest felt alive in a way that made my stomach twist. I saw no sign of Mara's flashlight, no footprints on the soft ground. But the voice continued to call my name, vibrating through the dark, soft and coaxing. I followed it. My breathing grew louder with every step. Branches cracked under my feet, and something shifted in the canopy above. Then I saw a flicker of light ahead. Relief washed over me. Mara must have found something. I moved faster, but when I reached the spot, the light flickered out. Then, a whisper right behind me. My name, so close, I felt the warmth of breath against my ear. I spun around, but nothing was there. Endless darkness. Fear surged through me. I started backing away, but the forest was wrong. The insects were silent. There was no wind, no rustling leaves, nothing natural, only my own footsteps. Then I heard Mara's real voice, filled with panic. "Run," she shouted, her voice trembling in a way that stabbed through my chest. I lunged toward the sound. The trees grew thicker, the shadows darker, as if the forest itself was closing in. A low hum rose around me, like steady breathing coming from all directions. My pulse raced. "Mara," I shouted, my voice breaking. Then I saw her. She stood in a small clearing, her body tense, her face pale. She lifted a hand, motioning for me to stay back. I froze. Behind her, something moved into a thin strip of moonlight. It was tall and thin, with limbs that were too long. Its posture hunched, skin looked stretched, pale and blotched like wet paper. But the worst part was its face. It had no mouth, yet I heard my name pour from it in Mara's voice. The sound forced through the skin of its throat, tilted its head, studying me, then took a step forward. Mara grabbed my arm and pulled me back, whispering that we had to stay quiet. It hunted by sound. We moved slowly, placing each foot with care. The creature followed, its steps soft but swift. The faint outlines of familiar trees appeared. We were near the edge. Hope rose in my chest. Then a branch cracked under my foot. The creature lunged with impossible speed, teased us in seconds, its long fingers stretching out, grazing my shoulder with a cold touch. I stumbled, but Mara shoved me ahead, shouting, "Run and don't stop." I burst out of the forest. The air warmed. My legs shook. I reached the cabin and threw the door shut behind me, turning to look for Mara, but she wasn't there. Her voice called my name again from the trees. The same perfect tone, the same unnatural rhythm. Then the creature stepped to the forest edge. It stood tall, watching the cabin. Something hung from its hand, piece of cloth, Mara's jacket. It lifted its head, and from deep inside its throat came a new voice. My voice. It spoke my name perfectly. I backed away from the window. The creature didn't move closer. It just stood there, repeating my name, practicing the tone, learning how to call me if I ever stepped outside again. I haven't slept since that night. Every time the sun goes down, I hear my voice drifting from the forest. It waits for me. It knows I'll eventually answer. It has more patience than any human. And every night, the voice sounds a little more perfect. A little more like I'm already calling myself into the dark. What do you think it is? And what would you do if you were trapped here with me? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the shadows. Stay safe out there.